and welcome to the Poppy Cooks YouTube channel. I am Poppy Cooks and I am the queen of potatoes on the internet, and I'm going to show you some potatoes today. I haven't been doing many potatoes because we've been doing Christmas stuff, so I want to show you Christmas potato Dauphinoise. Sneaky, delicious and absolutely perfect for your Christmas dinner, and it requires a double espresso. To drink, not to actually put in it because that would be rank. Or would it? It could work. Basically, potato dauphinoise is a classic French dish which is made with usually milk and double cream. But I don't want to put milk in it. I want to put just cream in it because I'm Veruca Salt, Daddy. And that's what we're going to do, but we're going to make it Christmassy. Get me a golden goose. To make it Christmassy, you basically add Christmas spices into it. Simple. We're going to infuse our double cream. Okay, so we're going to get 600 mils of double cream into a saucepan. I feel like a Victorian person when I say saucepan. Like a sixpence. Is that Victorian? Yeah. I don't know. We're making a lot. Obviously, if you're cooking for 4 people over Christmas, make it a lot smaller. You know, trying to get through this much dauphinoise between 4 is something only a hero can do. Get all the cream in. So yeah, like I said, usually the more traditional way of doing it is milk and cream, but why water down fat when you can just have more fat? Into here, we're going to put some sage, just a sprig, star anise, lovely little flavour, licoricey, but it's not too powerful. What you want to do when you do anything with star anise is making sure that it's like whole, because if you have little bits, you'll forget to pick them out. I've done that before, and a customer was crunching on a bit of star anise, which was got a bit of a bollocking for, to be fair, and a little bit of cinnamon, very Christmassy flavours. Good pinch of white pepper ground, because we're not looking for there to be any kind of black bits. If you're using like cracked black pepper, you can see the little sprinkles. We're just looking for it to be smoothly creamy. A good pinch of fine salt. Now, if you have whole cloves, just a couple of whole cloves, but I forgot to get some, so we've got ground cloves instead. So a tiny pinch, they're quite powerful in flavour. You don't need a lot. And then a bit of ground allspice. Or again, if you've got allspice berries, a couple of them in. Oh, it just smells so Christmassy. And I know it feels like actually this should be more desserty because it's got those kind of aromats in there, but it works so well with potato, that kind of earthy, soft, delicious flavour of potato. We've got some nutmeg. It's nice to use whole nutmeg rather than the ground stuff because you get this even fresher, almost pepperier sort of flavour. Good bit of nutmeg. Again, if you just have ground, then that's absolutely fine. It's a good little knob off the end. And I'm going to slice up some garlic slices to go in there. I'm going to do, you know what, I want it quite garlicky. I'm going to do about 3 cloves. 3 fat cloves of garlic. You could just stomp them a little bit and put them in with their skin on, but I kind of want the garlic going through it today. And also, I can't remember what my actual recipe is, so it's something like this. Sometimes you don't need to constantly look at a recipe. Sometimes you need to feel it, feel the flow, feel the rhythm. What does your heart want? And today my heart wants garlicky dauphinoise potatoes. Nice thin slice. Cool. This is going onto the hob to come up to the boil. And then once it's up to the boil, we're just looking for it to thicken slightly to go over our potatoes. We can move on to the patates now. So my rule of thumb with potatoes baked in a tray is you can put the potatoes into the tray and you'll see how many that you're going to need. which is that. Always do an extra 1 or 2 as well to make sure you've got plenty. So that is just a very simple way to kind of make sure that you've got enough potatoes ready to go. You can just chop them, absolutely fine. I might use a mandolin just because it's quicker. So get them peeled. And then we're looking for about 1 centimetre thick. My finger is 2 centimetres wide, which I think is wild because I thought that was 1 centimetre. It's actually 2 centimetres. So it's about half the thickness of my finger. So I think it's going to be the lowest. If you do have a mandolin, it's going to be basically no screw. That's how thick we're going, I believe. Let me just test out that theory. Always, I nearly didn't use the guard, always use the guard. It's okay, it's thinner than I was expecting, but actually that looks good. It's about the thickness of a pound coin, 50p piece, thin piece of potato. I mean, you could definitely cut it, and if they're a bit thicker, it's fine, but purely for speed, time and accuracy, I am going to be using the mandolin. Anyway, we've come to the end of the Dauphinoise slicing of potatoes. The cream has got creamier and more delicious because it's just come to the boil and thickened, and you can smell the delicious aromatic spices that we put in there. So we'll leave that just there for a second. What we're going to do is get all of the potato slices into a bigger bowl. If you think you're going to be taking a long time, put them into a bowl of water because we don't want any orange or brown potato slices. So I'm going to pour the cream into the sieve over the potatoes. Now, depending on how hot your cream is, you're going to want to get your hands in there. So you can use gloves or you can leave it to cool ever so slightly. Give it all a mix. Get all the potatoes coated. And now, depending on how proper you want to be, you can either pour the whole lot in, but make sure it stays fairly flat, or you can get a little bit bouge and start layering properly all the way. I'm going to do a bit of both, to be fair. I'm going to do this one layer just to show you, and then I'm going to pour, and then I'm going to add just 1 or 2 layers at the top so it looks very neat and very tidy and pretty and lovely. I would also advise that you get someone else in to come and season in between each layer. I know we've seasoned the cream with salt and pepper, but that's probably not going to be enough for all of these potatoes. So once you've done a layer, and get someone else to put a load of salt and pepper on it in between each layer. They can just stand there and wait. If they want to eat your food, they have to participate and they have to wait. Roger, could put some salt and pepper on, sweet. Thank you. This is Roger, my glamorous assistant. Thank you. I am going to be cheeky now. I am going to put basically a not so neat layer in. Just like I said, as long as it's mainly flat and anything that's too stuck together, you kind of separate so the cream can get in between all the crevices. You don't want too many layers of bold potato. Then season me, please. You might think this is quite a lot, but it isn't because of the amount of potatoes. It's probably about 2 kilos of potatoes in here in reality. So it does take a lot of flavour because potatoes, as much as I love them, are fairly plain in flavour. I've got enough there to maybe do one. Ooh, I haven't done this very well. Oh well, it's homemade. Okay, I was going to do a nice layer on top, but I'm not doing it anymore. We're going to cover it in cheese anyway. All this is going on. get all of the cream out because this is so delicious. Give it a final push together. What we're going to do is get some cheese on top of it. Again, in a normal Dauphinoise, that is not heard of. You do not put cheese on top of a Dauphinoise, but it is Christmas, I keep telling you. It's festive time. So you can use Brie, or what I've actually got at the moment is Camembert. Because to be fair, I just forgot to get Brie, so I already had Camembert, but same, but different, innit? So what I'm going to do, this is out of the fridge, I want it quite hard because I'm going to cut it. So I'm going to cut it in half, down the equator, through the middle, but not through the middle, but I don't understand what this bit is anyway. So I'm going to save half of that for later, and then I'm going to cut these bits just into strips that I can kind of place along. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just so it spreads out and becomes a little bit cheesy. You could put more on. I should put more on. I'm going to put the rest of it on and get another Camembert because this just deserves more. Okay, well, we're using a whole Camembert. If you're doing a smaller one, please don't use the whole Camembert. It's Christmas. This is the problem with me. More is more. I've never understood the statement of less is more. I'm always more is more. Bigger is better, especially when it comes to cheese and potatoes. In true Christmas fashion, we're going to put some sage leaves on here as well. I'm just going to place them kind of on top. No, kind of in between. Just to make it look so Christmassy that even Santa Claus himself would go, wow, that's too much. And you know that he's a jolly lad. I believe in Santa Claus. Every year I listen for sleigh bells ringing, reindeers coming, Rudolph with his nose so bright, and I get so excited. This absolute beast is now going to get covered in a bit of foil. Try your best, it's going to be difficult, but not to let the foil touch anything, but it's going to be loosely wrapped. So, something like that. If the foil touches the cheese, it's going to stick to it a little bit, which is a risk that we have to be willing to take. Because if we put this into the oven without any foil on, it's just going to burn. Because cream can split quite easily and it can burn. I'm just going to use my hand, go like that. Actually, that is quite loose, but that should be fine. And that is going into a preheated oven at 160 degrees Celsius. We're doing it so low because if you bake this on a higher, if you bake anything with cream in over 170 degrees, it will start to split, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the cream to cook and thicken and have enough liquid in it and steam to cook the potatoes. So 160 degrees for Dauphinoise is always the right way to do it. At the end, we're going to touch it up a little bit because we want the cheese to melt on top, but that's another thing. So that is going into the oven. Ta-ra! So, Christmas Dauphs. We're going to remove the foil now. Oh, beautiful. You just want to check that they are cooked. Yep, so you can, as you kind of carry on cooking and through your cooking career at home or at work or wherever you are, you'll start to feel things like when things are cooked. That makes sense. But I can feel that actually the knife is going through fairly evenly. There's nothing too much pushing back in terms of a raw potato, and my knife can easily glide through. It is going to have a bit more time anyway because we're looking for a bit of coloration on top, and I'm going to push these bits of potato that haven't got any cheese or cream on a bit further down to make sure that they get covered. If you bake a dauphinoise without any cheese on, which is normal, you just would put parchment paper completely on top, fully push it down, and make sure that all the potatoes are covered in cream. But because we've got our cheese, we didn't want to do that, otherwise it sticks to the parchment. Cool, that's going to go back in, uncovered, at again 160 degrees. Did I do that on before, or was it 170? 160 degrees Celsius. Right, it's going back in. Ooh, until it's golden and bubbling. Oh, so that is the kind of caramelization and golden texture, color, beauty, magic that we're looking for on top of our dauphinoise. That is perfection. I'm gonna get a little slice of, it just smells like cheese and potatoes and cream, which is actually exactly what it is really. It does exactly what it says on the tin. Beautiful. At this point, so you've cooked it, you know the point where I took the foil off? If you were going to cook this a little bit before Christmas or a little bit before Thanksgiving or whatever it is you're cooking for, I would leave it at that point. So it was partly cooked, mainly cooked, with the foil on still. So then you can save that. Once it's cooled down, put it into the fridge, and then you would do this last bit, which is taking the foil off and getting that caramelization on the day that you're going to be serving it, because it's only going to take about 20, 25 minutes for it to warm up all the way through. Obviously, if this is on your big platter of festive food, serve it up as it is and people can help themselves. But because I want to get a sexy hero shot, I'm going to take a bit of a little slither wedge corner out of it, serve it on a plate. Which corner should we go for? This one, because it looks really good. I want to get a bit of that caramelization off the side as well. It's a bit like, you know, when you have a lasagna and you want the corner bit every time. How much is too much for a portion? It's got a nice crispy top. Look at that, the layers. It looks great. It's time to dig in to the Christmas Dauphinoise, covered in camembert, enriched in double cream and spices. I can't remember what else I put in there. And potatoes. I'm just so excited. It has to be on the table for the festive period. It's got to be. Cheers, bottoms up. That is 10 out of 10. It's really subtle with the flavours of everything. A little bit of that nutmeg, some of that allspice. It's just beautiful. And you need something like this on the buffet. You need it on the counter. People go mad for it. That's really good. Please give it a go. Right, it's extreme. If you want more devilishly delicious potato recipes or anything else, then please do like and subscribe to get to know some more recipes, something like that. Does that make sense? I shouldn't have had lunch before I made this. Delicious.